Hi, folks. Welcome to Crisco's Corner. Hi, folks. Welcome back. This is a interview with Representative Chip Roy from Texas, with Jake Tapper. Now, before you change the video and say, it's CNN, it's all BS, this is actually a legitimate interview, and I'm really surprised. Chip Roy spells out the case for the so-called, I'll call them the rebels, the 20 that won't vote for Kevin McCarthy for Speaker. So let's take a look, and I'll comment along the way. Tell me what you think in the comments.
Oh, and that you seem actually focused on a set of principles and rule changes that you want to see enacted as opposed to having a personal animus against Kevin McCarthy. Do you agree with that assessment or no?
Yeah, first of all, thanks for having me on. I think that's pretty close to correct. I would take some issue with saying that I've been in constant opposition to McCarthy as much as trying to offer changes that I think are paramount to make the House work again. That is, by the way, a bipartisan criticism. We haven't had an amendment offered in open debate on the floor of the House since May of 2016. We cannot keep spending money we don't have. We cannot continue to allow our border to be wide open, endangering Americans and immigrants. We cannot keep business as usual going. It's failing the country, and everybody agrees, frankly, both sides of the aisle. So I've got differences of opinion with colleagues across both sides of the aisle, but the one thing we need to do is change. We need the leadership and the tools to stop the swamp from running over and stepping all over the American people who want change in this town. So that's what I've been pushing for. There's still some things that might change that I could get there. But right now, I'm holding the line because I think we need this place to operate differently. And that's not a partisan statement. It's just something that I believe.
So now here's the thing. I think the Republicans are very much like Charlie Brown. They are so sick and tired. You remember the old Charlie Brown where Lucy puts the football out. Charlie Brown goes to kick it, and she pulls it away, and he flies up and lands on his back. It's been going on and on and on and on. Well, we have control of the House now. Things are going to be different. They end up being just the same. I'll give you a classic example. Recently, Paul Ryan. So the man's got a point. Things have to fundamentally change. And they're fighting it. Now, a good tell is the fact that the Democrats now want Kevin McCarthy given the choice of the Republicans. So that should speak volumes. Let's listen on.
So you want an open amendment process, which has happened in the past, but obviously leaders of Congress, especially in the majority party, don't like it because they don't like to. It's losing control of what's going to happen and what's going to be in the legislation. You want an open amendment process. What else would you want to see happen in order for you to get to yes for Kevin McCarthy or whoever? Well, let's just say Kevin McCarthy.
Yeah, sure. Well, putting aside personalities, let's just take that out of it and just saying what would get me to yes is I need to make sure that the Rules Committee is structured in such a way that those of us who are what I would call fiscal conservatives who want to stop the sort of train of the swamp, right, the power brokers, the defense industrial complex, if you will, plus the non-defense discretionary, folks on the other side of the aisle who want to spend more money, they all come together, as you know. You follow this town closely. We just saw it happen with the $1.7 trillion omnibus bill. Without debating the merits of any particular substance in the bill, we can't keep doing that. It was a 10% increase in defense, a 6% increase in non-defense discretionary, $45 billion for Ukraine, $41 billion for emergency spending. None of that extra spending was paid for. So when are we going to stop that? So we can't stop that if we don't have the tools in the Rules Committee to stop it. I'd love to have open debate. I'd love to have more amendments. With the 72-hour rule you were just talking about, that's all good stuff.
I'm beginning to side with I'll call them the 20 rebels. I'm beginning to side with them. I was a local elected official here in upstate New York, early 2000s, rather than go into detail. One of the main things, if not the main thing I learned in trying to make things better in your community and your government, local in this case, is being right is not enough. You need more than that. You need strength in numbers. And that's tough. That's tough to get the people, individual people, to stick out their necks and risk their seats and their livelihood on their principles. It should be easy, but believe me, there's a price to pay for it. Let's listen on.
I hope what will happen is that we will demonstrate that we're all convicted that we need a different approach, and then maybe we'll have an adjournment and then go step aside and let's go talk about it. That's the way things ought to operate. I've been having conversations with friends on both sides of the aisle about If we do a fourth round, do we then break and adjourn and then go have a discussion? You've been studying the history. You and I were talking about it offline. I've looked at the history. This isn't actually new. It has been 100 years. But you know what's important about that, Jake? It's been 100 years because the two-party system is so entrenched in this town that we're not able to actually use our power as a single member of Congress to go to the House floor and have debate. I opened my speech a minute ago saying, so this is what a full chamber looks like in debate, right? Because
we'll play a couple of clips from a couple of questions, and then I'll put the link in the description to this video. It's from Dan Bongino's page on Rumble. Fascinating stuff. Fascinating.
You know, some of the things you talk about wanting, not just rules changes, including an open amendment process, and not just having committees just jam things full of goodies from lobbyists and the rest. But some of the other things you talk about in terms of the military-industrial complex, et cetera, like, I am quite sure that there are Democrats you could get to vote for some of those provisions if you were willing to sit down and offer a bipartisan legislation. Now, you're a very...
No, that's not true. The Democrats in this Congress are cult members. All of them. Some are a lot less brainwashed than others. That's a given. But the fact of the matter is they've been told by Pelosi and all the leadership in the Democrat side of Congress that you do not make deals. You won't see one. It's my opinion. You won't see one unless there's huge concessions made so the Democrats that are in the minority can have a better say. Something they would never do if they were in the majority. I'll tell you the truth. The Republicans aren't perfect either. But the Democrats take hypocrite and just deflection to an art form. They would never do that. So I'm going to leave the video off here. I'm going to leave the link in the description. It's about a 10-minute video with Mr. Roy from Texas. And I'm beginning to side. I'll call them the 20 rebels. We do need to shake up. This is what was promised, especially by the new Republican Congress members that are coming up. They promised their constituents, vote for me, and I'll fundamentally change the way Congress is done. And they do not want to be Charlie Brown with a football again and go up and go to kick the football and land on their behinds. They're sick of it, and the American people are sick of it. So I have to give them credit. How this is going to turn out, I really don't know. But I do know this. I hope they hold firm, and we'll just see what happens. Like I said, when I learned when I was a local elected official, unfortunately, being right isn't enough. We're going to have to see. Until next time, goodbye and good luck.